Hello and welcome to the Growing Green Landscapes podcast with Jeremiah Jennings. While still in his early 20s, Jeremiah already runs a successful six-figure lawn maintenance company. Listen in as he and his guests share the things that have brought them success that can help you in your business. As a young entrepreneur in the green industry, Jeremiah emphasizes the tips and tricks involved in running a lawn maintenance business while discussing the principles applying to all small businesses. If you're wanting to grow, become profitable and professional, you're in the right place. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Growing Green Landscapes podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode today. As you know, we're coming off the podcasting session we had in Huntsville with some lawn bros. Hope y'all really enjoyed those episodes. It meant a lot to me getting to meet those guys and talk to them and hang out. And it was just super cool and experience getting to hang out with all those other guys in the industry and learn from them and have them teach me some things, and I kind of helped them out with some things that they were looking for. So really cool to make that connection. Can't wait to get back to it and do it again. But today we're going to move on with another guest interview. I really enjoy these. I take a lot out of them, and I hope y'all do too. We can sit here and do solo podcasts all day long, but I enjoy hearing from everybody in the industry and people that do different types of work in the industry, from maintenance to hardscapes to softscapes and everything in between. So today we have on Jamie Feie with SupremeScapes. He is out of Ohio. And Jamie, how you doing today, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good deal. Well, Jamie, there's not really a set agenda. I mean, if you've listened to some in the past, we're just kind of going to sit back and talk and chat and discuss where you came from and how you've gotten to where you are today. We got to meet. It's another interview from Together in the Trades Connection. It was a great conference out there. We really enjoyed it, and I'm sure we'll probably get into that and talk about it a little bit today. Young, share your experience with it. But if you didn't know what it is, go back and listen to some other episodes. We dove in to that topic and talked about it further. But made some great connections out there. Jamie's one of them, and I wanted to get him on the podcast and kind of talk about his business and how he's gotten to where he is today and what they're doing. So, Jamie, I'm going to hand it off to you, and you just kind of take it and run with it, brother.
Yeah, cool, man. So we're a full design, build, and maintain landscaping business. We're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. We've been doing this for this is our 10th year now. I've been in the industry for 12, 13 years. So we started out, just myself, really, really small vision starting out. I worked at a landscaping company here in Cincinnati, and it was a good company to learn a lot of basic skills at, but not necessarily. I learned pretty quickly that it wasn't somewhere that we were going to be able to, or that I was going to be able to further my career. So I worked there for a few years, fell in love with the industry. I was pruning a Japanese maple, and one of the days, and I was just sitting here thinking to myself, I could do this the rest of my life, just prune this tree. Like, I just loved being outside. The sun was on my face. It was just a really good day, and it really kind of solidified the landscape industry for me. And so I worked with them, and it was great. The culture was not where I needed it to be. And so I went on a mission trip down to Mexico, and I was just kind of talking with some of these guys in the men's group, and we were hashing out some of the big things that were going on in our lives. And I was considering starting a landscaping business, and I was bouncing it off a couple guys, and one of our family friends, the dad, he was kind of the mentor of the group. And I pushed a couple of questions on him, and he kind of gave me the green light and said, hey, go for it. So I came back. I worked about a week at that company, about a week and a half, and told them I was going to, move on and start my own business. So at that point, I did like the really simple math, and I needed to cut 4 yards a day. And that was basically me making my paycheck that I worked at that landscaping business. It was like $100 a day I was making or something. So I got that part down, and, fast forward, we've got, maybe 30 or 40 mowing accounts. I just went door to door and just shook hands with people, looked them in the eye, and told them what we were doing. And it was me at the time, what I was doing. And yeah, so just very slowly gained accounts, just doing door to door marketing. I didn't really have a lot of money at that time to put some mass marketing budget together. So that was it. Humble beginnings on gaining the first 40 to 50 clients. And we were just cutting grass at that time. We had a little Ford Ranger, like a 98 Ford Ranger with a 5x7 trailer from Tractor Supply. And we outfitted that thing with some wood sides so we could put some debris in it. Like sometimes we'd take on like a landscape job here and there. But it was just not the right trailer for doing landscaping. We actually broke one of the wheels on it, loading it down with 2 yards of topsoil one day. That was a really funny story.
Topsoil is deceptively heavy.
Dude, it is, man.
It is.
It is. We loaded it up, and we were thinking we were being so smart because we were saving all this time. And then we get like 5 minutes from the job, and the wheel falls off the trailer in the middle of an intersection, and the spindle, the five lug spindle, just starts etching into the ground, and we're like pulling out of the intersection. We finally get onto the street, and we're just ticking the road every single.
Sparks probably flying everywhere.
Yeah. So we made it. We got the job done, and yeah, man, I haven't thought about that in a long time.
That's one of those you just keep on trucking. You don't turn around. You don't stop. You just
No,
keep
we did
going.
not stop.
No.
We were like, this is about as bad as it can get. We got about another quarter mile to get to the job. We're just going to keep it going.
Yeah.
Axle snaps. The axle snaps. We'll just drag the trailer.
That's insane. I had a buddy he did some home renovations, and he was taking a toilet out one day, and he thought it wasn't going to go anywhere, but he got in the interstate. And he took off, and I mean, that thing just flew out like a rocket. And I said, he said, I saw it go out, and I never stopped. You just keep on trucking and don't turn around. As long as it doesn't hit anybody, you just keep on going, because it is not worth getting in the mess of that. So that's funny. So
we're rocking this little Ford Ranger and this 5x7 trailer. Maybe we were getting about 80 to 100,000 or so at this point. And I keep saying it was just me. I had a really good second year. My first year, I think I did about 30,000. And then we're into year two, and doing, I had hired a guy. It was actually a guy that had worked with me at the previous landscaping company I was at. So he and I are going out cutting grass every day, maybe doing a couple of little miscellaneous trimming jobs here and there. Whatever was low hanging fruit, we'd grab that. And then at that point, we were able to break off and create a landscaping crew, which I was going to lead. And then this guy was going to lead the mowing crew. And so he did that. And we kind of had this simple transition of we were working together in one truck. And then I bought an F-150, and we split into a landscape rig and a lawn mowing rig. And at that point, he was probably taking care of 50 or so yards a week. And then I was just doing random landscape jobs on my own. And we'd come together for the big stuff. But so we did that for a while, and I kind of hired friends and guys that were home from summer, college, that whole thing. And we just clawed at every opportunity we possibly could get our hands on. And we would kind of push the bar too. We would do stuff that we weren't necessarily, that we didn't have experience on. So like we'd be doing maybe like a dry creek riverbed or something that you don't know in the beginning to like put fabric underneath your rock so it doesn't melt into your soil. Yeah. And so we do stuff like that. And then it was just good experience. I trusted myself enough to like watch YouTube and like get educated and ask other people in the industry and start taking on bigger jobs. And then we started taking it very, very seriously, our education on different hardscapes and why hardscapes function the way that they do. All the different elements that have to play together to have a nice structural system that's going to be everything that the customer's looking for. I always say fashionable and functional, functional being first. So, so then we just started getting into like small patios and, 10 by 10 paver patios. And then we do like a little 3-foot retaining wall. And then we do a retaining wall and a patio. And at that point, you kind of have your name out there. And again, we're not doing any marketing at this point. We're just leaving a pretty decent wake of happy customers behind us. And that really spoke pretty well for us marketing wise. We just kept on growing at that point, adding a truck here and there. And then we got to the point where we had one solid mowing crew that was kind of getting at capacity. And that's how we've always liked to grow, is like you get at capacity for what your crew can do. And then out of that discomfort births another crew. And you have to take that leap, because then you're, maybe going door to door again to find more mowing accounts.
Because you don't have enough for that second route. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Because then, it was like the crew would break off and be like a mowing crew, but they'd also kind of be a landscaping crew. But we're trying to get them to be a full-time mowing crew. So they would be like kind of 50-50. We call them switch crews. So it was always that way. Whenever we opened a new crew, they were always a switch crew. They were always kind of biting off what needed to be done. And then eventually they would assume their role once there was enough work. And then we just kind of did that over and over and over again. And today we are running 2 full-time mowing crews, 1 full-time landscaping crew, and then 1 full-time hardscaping crew. And we've got about typically between 14 and 16 field workers on an on season. So anywhere from March all the way through December. So that's our current operation right now. We've had a heck of a time the last couple of years scaling and just getting the right people in place and getting them to understand the vision of what we're doing, and that this can be a career for them and not just a job. So we've just taken so many strides on like the amount of meetings that we have now are just hilarious. Like we have meetings about everything so that we can all be on the same page.
Communication is key though in that aspect.
Yeah. So prior to hiring a business coach, and this is where I think God really blessed us, because there is no reason why our business coach should be coaching us. He's a Fortune 500 P&G, big time, business coach, doing, 50 plus, 100 plus employees. So I think that he really enjoys our business, and maybe it's like his little pet project, and he loves to just see us grow. And it's a good relationship between the both of us. But with his advice and doing personality tests on all the employees and just getting the right systems in place and asking the right questions, at this point, we are fully scaling the business. And, I describe it as we are kind of operating and we're pushing this button or turning this dial and seeing what pops out on the other end, because we have the flexibility to do that. A lot of the times you are like, I can think 5 years ago, we didn't have any flexibility. It was like you get the job done. You're just working on tighter margins because you're trying to scale up and get like a base. So at this point, we get to at least have a little bit of breathing room to have some office personnel handle a lot of the day-to-day communications with all the customers. And we're serving, I think, probably right around 800 to 1,000 customers on an annual basis. Mm-hmm. So reoccurring on a weekly basis, we're probably touching maybe 200 homes or so.
Yeah. That's still a lot to keep up with, though.
Yeah, lots of logistics and lots of planning, and thank God for Jobber. We were doing everything on Excel spreadsheets up until about 3 years ago.
And once you do it now, you're like, how did I ever do that? Now that you have a good CRM.
Yeah. Once you get a CRM, it's like you just I can't remember. That's the other thing. I'm a little like blind to my the memory of like what used to be. Even like we just hired some office personnel, and she is amazing. and I can't remember not having her now.
Yeah.
It's like I'm so infatuated with what we do now that it doesn't matter. Like living in the past, it's just like I can't even get there if I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool to hear where you came from. I mean, from a one-wheel trailer driving down the road with some topsoil up to 16 guys. There's a lot to hit on out of that. But one of the big things to me that stuck out is you grew organically, it sounds like. You didn't shoot up overnight. This is an 8 to 10 year process of growing, maxing yourself out, and then, like you said, starting that second crew. You get to the point, you get to your almost to your breaking point, and then you say, all right, I've got to move on. I've got to get another one. You don't just go out and go buy 2 or 3 brand new trucks and hire 10 guys and say, all right, go find the work. Doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. And you saying you did door-to-door marketing when we were talking before this. You had done some door-to-door marketing before when you were starting out, and it sounded like you were pretty successful at it. But as you've grown, how do you market now? How did you market as you scaled? Are you using your social media platforms? Are you using Facebook? What are you doing to now that you have these guys? You have 14, 16 guys that you're providing for. You have to keep that work coming in now. So how did you? And I'm sure word of mouth is huge now because you're on those 800 to 1,000 customers a year. So that's a lot of people spreading your name around. But getting to that point, I always hear people talk about, how do I get the phone to ring? How do I market? How do I grow like this? How do I get my route maxed out so I can add a second crew? What would you say that helps you get to that point?
Yeah, so I think it's a point to say that. So my wife was working in the. She had her dream nonprofit job. She was doing marketing for a orphan care ministry, and to pull her away from that was like really, really difficult. But there were a couple other things at play that made that an opportunity for us. So she came on board. She has yet to really sink in her marketing expertise because she's been so inundated with the day-to-day office stuff. So I can't say that we really market that much. Like we do maybe a couple of targeted Google ads for specific things that we want to grow in or just be busy with. But other than that, I think we've done door hangers in our like selected, Brian Fullerton, he talks a lot about route density. And so we'll do door hangers in very, very small communities that we want to grow in. Like we've got one community where we have 82 properties and it's all maybe 1.5 square miles.
Wow. That's insane.
Is that whole property. Yeah. So that's our baby. And so marketing wise, we don't really have to do anything because on a weekly basis, we've got 2 to 3 trucks in that community just driving around that are completely logoed up that we clean. We try to clean every Friday. So we're looking as dialed as we possibly can when we're in that community. We've talked with all the guys about being on your absolute best behavior when you're in that community because that's been a super big key for us to like really grow and be profitable because I think anyone listening to this who's got a landscaping business is going to know that windshield time, especially a maintenance crew, windshield time on a lawn mowing rig is just a complete waste of time.
It'll kill you. It'll put you out of business faster than losing customers.
Yeah. It's just overhead that's just not necessary. Yeah. And so we really look at those. We've got like 3 communities that we just want to over and over and over market to by just being there. And then we do door hangers in the like February timeframe, right before mowing season. And then again, we just keep our guys as professional as possible when we're in those areas. So that's like our marketing tactic. And Google Ads right now, we're only doing that for firewood deliveries. So that's really the only thing we advertise.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of like house. We had a house profile for a little while, but it didn't really yield a lot of what we were looking for. We still get the random person that was like, yeah, I found you on house. It's like, oh, okay. That was like 2 years ago.
I forgot I even had that.
Yeah, I forgot. We don't manage it. So yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. So it sounds like word of mouth, and that's what everybody says. It's word of mouth. It's your greatest advantage to marketing, but you have to do quality work for that to happen. If you go out there, when you were by yourself and you hired that first guy, if you were out there just half-butting it, not getting stuff done the right way, then you would never be to this point. And that's
Absolutely.
Any guys that are starting out right now, if you might seem small, you might feel like, that I'm never going to get to that point. That point is like unattainable. You probably had big goals to get to this point when you started out. But when you were small and you were one guy, you probably had some of those thoughts the same way of how am I ever going to get there. But you went out there and you busted it, and you did the quality work, and you provided for those customers the way that you felt like you did the best you absolutely could. And that's what we were talking about before we hit record, was you have kind of a almost to your downfall, something of you want to please your customers so well that you can almost end up taking on too much stuff. But it's not for the money. It's because you want to take care of those customers, and if they ask you and they want you to do something, you want to do it the right way. And that's such a big thing that you got to do quality work. You have to present yourself well, like you're saying, be professional out in the field.
Yeah, so I don't know where I heard it, but early on, I learned the phrase that money is a byproduct of good service, and I've never forgotten that.
That's
and
good.
I, to a T, just like it was the most meticulous landscaping we could possibly do. Like we thought about changing our name. Like we've been SupremeScapes since we started, but we thought about changing to like Meticulous Lawn Care or something like that, because before I consulted with a design company to like talk to me about our logo and everything, they interviewed us and talked to us about everything. They're like, yeah, whatever. They went through all that, but it was you have to leave a trail of the most excited and pleased customers, not only about the work, but the process as well, and the relationship too. So there's just like so many aspects. Like you can go in and do a job. And actually, I had a customer tell me like a year ago, it was like revolutionary for me to hear this. How you open the door is how you should close the door. So when you open the door to a new relationship, a customer's calling you to do some work, and you're like this fun, bubbly guy, right? You're like trying to get the sale. And then you go through and maybe the job goes south, and whatever happens, like we all have those jobs that just don't pan out. And how you close that door means everything, at least to me now. Even if you went belly up on the job, you close that door with a smile, and you leave that customer. That customer never needs to know that you broke even on the job, or that you lost money on the job, because that's just part of what it is. And learning, I didn't put enough man hours on that job. I'll know for next time. And Jobber helps us do that tremendously. We put notes in on every job and track profitability per job and all that stuff. So we have a lot of data. But open the door, close the door how you open it. It was just like a huge little tidbit that this customer said, and she had no idea she was saying it, like, and I was just receiving this like golden nugget of wisdom of how to treat our customers. And so I've been trying to do that as best I can. And I'm always overbooked with just a bunch of stuff. I'm addicted to having our customers' needs be met. So I'm always saying yes to things. And, but we're having meetings and just all kinds of cool stuff. And we've created this culture where the guys and everyone in the office just feels ownership over everything we do. And sometimes I sit back and I look at the passion that is in our teams, that's on their faces or in their voices. And I'm like, man, these guys actually care more than I do some days. Like if I'm having a bad day, like these guys are picking up the slack where I'm having a bad day and they're pushing the ball forward. And that was not easy to do, to foster that culture. So I'm so thankful for that now that just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a blessing that I know, because I know so many people down here are some of our local guys around us that are having a hard time keeping employees and having a good attitude when they're there. And that's the culture that you create. And I don't even know you that well, but the vibe that I get from you is you love what you're doing. You're very energetic about it. You're passionate, and you want to please the customer and do the best work you possibly can. that's going to rub off on your employees. So when you're out there and you're looking for employees and you're wondering why you can't keep stuff, what do you like? What do you like to work for? That's the thing. Like, I mean, are you a good employer? If you're out there having trouble keeping people, it sounds to me like you have 14 to 16 guys in the summer, and you're retaining pretty well from what it sounds like. They're bought into your philosophy of SupremeScapes of we're going to go out here and do the best work we possibly can and leave this client 100% satisfied. And if you don't have the attitude of we're going to go out here and kill it and we're going to always have good attitude, and yeah, it's going to be hot in the summer. I'm not saying you're not going to have some bad days. That's what you were just telling me was so you were in the field today. It was a super hot day, but you got through it. And now look at the attitude that you're having here. You're rubbing off on your employees more than you know. And it's one of those things like somebody's always watching you and you don't know who it is. And that your employees watch you. They watch your attitude and your employees watch each other. So when you're hiring those first one or two guys, I'm still to that point where I only have 3 employees in the summer. So we're super small, but the employees feed off each other. So that first hire is arguably, I would say, one of the most crucial things in your business if you're trying to scale.
Yeah, you're setting the culture up at that point.
Exactly.
What our coach has done is, again, personality tests. We have zone training meetings, which basically puts everyone on the same page so that we all have a common language to speak. And one of our common languages, or one of our, examples of how to identify problems, is we have a place called the Village. If you're in the Village, it means you're having a bad day. So if I walk up to you and you've got the trimmer and you're just sweating and it's like you throw the trimmer down or something, I'm walking up to you and be like, hey man, you in the Village? And you'll be like, yeah, dude, I'm in the freaking Village. I don't know what to do. I'm like, waist deep. I'm so pissed, blah, blah, blah. I'm sweating and whatever. My girlfriend broke up with me, whatever's going on.
That's awesome.
And, so like you're in the Village and you're the only person that can get yourself out of the Village. And so with the help of our guys, each guy around you, we all have that common language. Like, hey, we know you're in the Village, man. You need a Snickers bar. Like, what do you need from me? You want to hop on the rider for the next job and feel the wind in your face? Like, what do you need? And so I've heard that constantly, that common language talked and acted out. And it's like it's one of the most proudest moments of owning the business is like, you see that culture constantly re-perennialize and just keep coming and getting better and better, almost to the point where there's different ways that you can get into the Village, into this crappy mood. You can be a visitor, you can be a resident, meaning like you're being there for a long time and that's not cool. Or you can be the mayor, where you can recruit other people to come into the Village and be pissed off. And the culture that we have in our company right now is that basically the mayors get fired. You don't recruit other people to be pissed off. You try and pull them out of the hole. And everyone on our team, all 16 guys, are going to tell you that we just don't do that. Like, we don't do the drama thing. We've had the drama. We've had all kinds of problems before, and we just don't do it. So when we have guys that we hire, because maybe it's out of necessity, we need a guy, or it's a quick hire, and you're not thrilled about who you've hired, maybe. If it becomes a problem, the guys just squeeze him out, or he or she out, because they realize that it wasn't a good fit. And it's like all 16 will be like, hey, how are we feeling about John, the new guy? And everybody's like either yay or nay. And it's like, if he's a problem, it's just, that's how our culture is. We're not drama. We're like, literally the guys will stay to help change brakes on another guy's car. Like, we'll have 6 guys out there off the clock, and they're all changing brakes on one dude's truck because whatever, or a guy wants to borrow a truck to go pick up a kayak or something. Like, we're super flexible, probably more flexible than we should be.
Yeah.
But we're like,
you're a family. You're a family
mentality, man. Like, we hang out. Like, we just did our company canoe trip, and everybody's just having a ball, and we're just getting to know each other deeper. And it's a really cool thing we've built, and I can't take credit past 3 years ago because it wasn't just me. It's now our entire team is building this house that we all get to live in, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And guys are now they're putting the hammers down and they're hopping in front of the computers now. We got a couple of guys that are on salary that are like getting more computer time. And so we're creating some careers for those guys. And, as soon as I hire a salesman, I don't really know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I've caught the carrot at that point. Like truth be told, like I'm really trying to figure out what the next step is, for the next 5 years. I'm constantly trying to figure out what the heck to do. Like we bought a shop. We've built it out to what we need it to be. We just put an offer in on the property next door, which is just a residential house. We're going to gut that whole house and make it an office. And then we're going to put up a 50 by 100 pole barn behind it. And at that point,
that's headquarters, baby.
It's headquarters, man.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you what the next step is, like material bins, fuel on site, like all the stuff that we hear, Caleb, Amon, and H Squared, like all the stuff that Andy Mulder, like we hear all these guys, like all the efficiencies that they talk about, like having material on site, and all that stuff will be happening in due time. Once we do that. And then at that point, I feel like we'll have a business model that I don't have to be in on the day to day. But I'll still need to lead it from a culture perspective and like a CEO perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I'll need to come in and bang the drum and still lead the wagon. But
and you'll always be working on yourself, even though you're not in it every day. You'll still be learning how. That's one thing I heard the other day was you have to learn to lead yourself before you can lead someone else. And if you didn't learn to lead yourself along the way, then how are you going to lead your production manager or the guys that are now on the computer time? You had to teach yourself and lead yourself and say, how am I going to do this? I'm going to figure out these systems. And now you can implement and help them do it. And now you're not – it's like Corey Ballard always says, you're not working a job. You own a business. And you're almost to that point where you're going to be out of it, the everyday stuff, but you're still going to be involved because, like you said, you're going to come in and lead, and it might not be an everyday thing, but make your presence known, keep that company culture up, and just keep everyone involved and have that attitude that y'all have. And that sounds awesome, man. It's you sound, and every business has their problems for sure. But it just sounds like you have a great company culture, and that's a huge thing that even we're talking 16 guys for you. This is something you can have with 3 guys, whether it's you and another guy or you and 3. It doesn't matter how many you have. All right, everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed that episode as much as I did. This was a super fun podcast that I did with Jamie here. This is actually going to just be part 1. We're going to have to split this episode into 2 because me and Jamie sat here and talked for well over an hour and packed a lot of content in that hour, and it's just going to be too much to put in one podcast for you to try to retain it all. So we decided to switch it up here. We're going to do a little 2-part series. This is going to be episode 1. Episode 2 is going to come out next Wednesday. As always, we come out on Wednesdays and Fridays. So it is going to be better than the first one, I think. I think the second half is better than the first half. So if you like the first half, definitely come back for the second half next week on Wednesday here. It'll be out bright and early in the morning. So come check it out. If you enjoyed it, leave those all-important ratings and reviews, like you say. It really helps us social-proof the podcast and get it to the point where other people are listening in and we're growing to a bigger audience and just growing this community together. So I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. If you did, leave those ratings and reviews, and we're going to wrap this one up. So we will just see y'all here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green Landscapes podcast. We know you have many other podcast options to choose from, and don't take it for granted that you chose to spend some time with us today. You can connect with Jeremiah Jennings at Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram or use the link in the show description. Don't forget to smash the follow button on the podcast and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We hope you crush it in your business and hope to catch you on our next episode.